Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're looking at issue 2 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine today, and this issue came with 3 Von Ryan's Leapers. And in today's game, they've tracked down the Space Marine captain, and we'll see how units work in our games. Looking through the issue first, we are straight into the build guide for the Von Ryan's Leapers. Like the captain, these are pushed together models, although as always you want to use glue, and obviously be careful when you're taking them parts off the sprue and cleaning them up before you put them together. You might be a little bit careful you don't accidentally cut something off that you weren't meant to. And here you can see the other two, and you do need to be a little bit careful lining the leaper up on its base. Try and get the bulk of its body over the centre of the base, otherwise it might be a bit wobbly when you use it on the tabletop. And then, obviously, part of the hobby is painting, so we have the sort of introduction to painting as a whole. And it goes over the Citadel painting method, starting with a base coat, then a shade, and then doing the highlights to lighten the model back up. It does show some finished models at the bottom there, and that we're getting quite a decent variety of models with this magazine from all of the different factions we'll get. Although it might seem intimidating, it's something that everyone can do if you just put enough practice and time into it. And then he just sort of goes over how the guides are presented, and sometimes the guides will be on specific techniques like undercoating or shading, but we have to wait until issue 4 before we see any of those. Then we're into some more background lore. We have high-level background on the Imperium. It is the most powerful empire humanity has ever known, and claims dominion over millions of worlds across the entire galaxy. Obviously, millions of worlds means that billions and billions of humans are required to fight for it, and the Imperium doesn't negotiate, accept surrender of any of its enemies. It fights until they are destroyed. And on the next page you can see some of the factions. We have the Space Marines at the top, the Superhuman Warriors, the Astra Militarum, the massive numbers of enlisted normal humans who are required to fight for the Imperium survival, the Adeptus Sororitas, religious, almost holy order of nuns who like to fight with fire. At the bottom is the Cybernetic Warriors of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who are in charge of the Imperium's technology. And then some background on the Tyranids. So we have some background on the Vanguard swarms and the various Vanguard organisms the Tyranids use, and these will be sent ahead of invasion fleets to gather information on the enemy. Organisms adapted for stealth and intelligence gathering. You can see the Von Ryan's Leapers in the picture there, and you have creatures like the Lictor, which is more adapted to assassination. And on the next page you can also see the Gene Stealers, which will often stow away on ships or space hulks and steadily gathering information and breeding until a proper invasion force can arrive. And then we have the invasion swarms, so they'll have massive swarms of chittering little creatures and huge hulking behemoths and various biological weapons that they unleash on the foe. Tyranids are also broken up into several hive fleets that are all part of a greater hive mind, but each have their own quirks. And then there's some backgrounds on the Termagants and the Hormagaunts. The Termagants are adapted for range combat, so with various strange biological weapons that launch burrowing beetles or bone spikes at high velocities, whereas the Hormagaunts are bred for speed and close combat ability, so they sort of swarm and physically overpower the foe. And then we have a record for the Von Ryan's Leapers, so we can give them a name. I decided to go for the Whispering Ones. You can keep track of how you're getting on with the collection, whether you built, painted, or played with them yet. The Von Ryan's Leapers are a Vanguard organism designed for sowing chaos around behind enemy lines. And then there's the data sheet again. If it looks complicated, we'll learn all about that in the future, but keep it separately. And then we also have name tables for other Tyranid units, so presumably later on we'll be able to roll on these tables for our own units. You roll a d6 for the column and another d6 for the row. So you can see them there, and I'll let you pause and read them if you want to, but I'll hand you over to Will, and you can take us into today's game.
So moving on to our game, we have the background here. So in the previous issue, at least canonically, the Captain in Terminator armour fended off the Winged Tyranid Prime, but more Tyranids are on the way in the form of 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, so we can use our new models. It mentions down here that a collection of Warhammer 40,000 models is organised into units, and a collection of units makes up an army. And so over the page, as it explains here, the Captain in Terminator armour is 1 unit, and the 3 Von Ryan's Leapers constitute another unit. So they are a unit made up of 3 models. Later in the collection we'll receive units made up of even more models. And when attacking with a multi-model unit like the Von Ryan's Leapers, you look at how many attacks they have each, and then add those all together, at least if they're all armed with the same weapon. So these Leapers have 6 attacks each, so when there are all 3 of them in the unit, they have 18 in total. And then when a multi-model unit is attacked and takes wounds, those are allocated to individual models. For example here, 2 wounds have been allocated to the Leapers, and one of the models is picked to take those wounds, and you have to continue allocating further wounds to that model until it's slain, but excess damage inflicted is not carried over to the next model. So in this example, if the Leaper has 2 wounds allocated and receives a wound from the captain, which does 2 damage, it'll just take the 1 and the extra 1 won't carry over, but that will become apparent as we go through our playthrough in a moment. So here is our next mission, where the captain is still in the far-flung outposts, and now these 3 Von Ryan Leapers have turned up, so they are placed in the centre of our board, much as we did with the Tyranid Prime in the previous mission, and they're going to just fight it out to the death once again. The captain has 6 wounds, and the Von Ryan's Leapers each have 3, so each one is slain when they have 3 wounds allocated. And it also mentions that you can roll in batches, rather than having to roll for all 3 of the Leapers individually, just to speed things up. So the Tyranids get to go first, like in the previous game, and just follows the same sequence that we had before, it's just with slightly different numbers. So the Leapers, as we said before, have 18 attacks between them, so at least in the first turn, when they're all there, they will roll 18 dice, and they hit on rolls of 3 or higher, so 1s and 2s will miss. And they're not quite as strong as the Tyranid Prime, so they wound the captain only on rolls of 4, 5 or 6. But the captain still gets to make his saving throws on a 3 or better, to see if his armour protects him. But unlike Tyranid Prime, because they're not as powerful, they only do 1 damage to the captain for each failed saving roll, so they will have to get 6 through rather than 3 like the Tyranid Prime. But then assuming the captain survives, he then gets a turn, and his rolls he needs are the same as the previous issue, so he hits on 2s or better and will be wounding the Von Ryan's Leapers on 4s or better with his sword, and their saving throw is the same, they need to roll a 6 on the dice to protect them. And the captain's sword still does 2 damage, but as mentioned before, a Leaper has 3 wounds, and so the first hit it takes will allocate 2 wounds to it. The second hit will kill it, but then the extra damage will not carry over. So the captain effectively needs to get 6 hits through to kill the entire unit, even though it only has 9 wounds in total. All of that will become obvious as we play through the game, and then we continue doing that process until one side is destroyed. So here we are once again in our far-flung outpost with the captain being attacked by 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, and they get to go first, as it says in the magazine. All 3 of them are alive and they have 6 attacks each.
Yeah, so I will roll all of my dice together, so it'll be 18 dice. So 18 attacks, looking for 3s. Got 12 hits, looking for 4s. Only 4.
Not so good. So now I need to make my save rolls, and once again looking for 3s or better. I have failed 2, but unlike the Tyranid Prime, as I said, they only do 1 damage each. So the captain is down to 4 wounds, and as before, we mark that with how many wounds he's got left, rather than how many are allocated, because we prefer to do it that way. But the captain is still alive, so now moves to his turn, and he has his 6 attacks, which hit on 2s. He got 2 misses, and he needs 4s to wound as well. He got 2 of those.
Or a 6 to save. Oh, I made 1. So one of the Leapers takes 2 damage and is down to 1. It doesn't really matter which one it is.
No, but we mark that, so saying that Leaper has 1 wound left.
The next time the Leapers take damage, that Leaper has to take damage first. So 18 attacks once again on 3s. 12 hits once again. And for 4s.
Slightly better this time, I've got 5 save rolls to make, and I've failed 3 of them. The captain is down to 1 wound remaining and still hasn't killed any Leapers. Can he do that with this attack? Well, he didn't miss this time, so that was a good start, and he needs 4s. He only got 2 again, though.
6s once again. Oh, I didn't make either, so this Leaper that's on 1 wound will take 2 damage, so 1 of that damage will kill it, and the extra 1 is wasted. And then the next Leaper takes 2 damage, it's down to 1. Then I'm down to only 12 attacks, seeing as I've lost the Leaper. Doesn't seem to have slowed them down, that's 11 hits. And 4s, 4 again.
But I have to pass all of these armour saves. Which I did. So the captain is still alive and has 6 attacks once again. He got a miss this time. 4s to wound. Oh, 2.
6s. Nope, so we're down to just 1 Leaper now with 1 wound remaining. 6 attacks on 3s, gets 5. Also looking for 4s, getting 2.
Saves. And there's a 1. So the captain does go down and the Tyranids are victorious. So we will set it up and have another go and see if the captain can do any better. So here we are for round 2, and we'll let the Leapers go first again.
So 18 attacks on 3s. So it's actually only 9 hits. Can we do better at wounding? 3 wounds.
3 saves to make. Made them all this time, so not taking early damage, which is good. And we'll be hitting back on 2s. Yes, we do hitting and wounding. Still hasn't managed to sharpen his sword, so we've only got 2 wounds again.
6s. Nope, so we'll immediately lose a Leaper, and again the extra damage doesn't carry over. So 12 attacks, getting 8 hits, 3 wounds, we're consistent if nothing else.
Oh, we did fail 2 saves this time though, so the captain takes his first damage. He's down to 4. Hitting back, he missed once, and falls to wound. Oh, better than 50% this time, we've got 3 wounds.
But I did make 1 save, so 1 leaper is killed, and the other is unhurt. 6 attacks back, that all hit, and get 4 wounds. Oh, who needs the other 2?
Save rolls. Failing 3, the captain's down to 1 again, so we need to finish this leaper off. So we need to finish this leaper off before it does any more damage. We missed once, and looking at for 4s, only 2.
You need to make 1 of these. No, so the captain finishes off the last leaper.
So 1 game apiece, and we'll have a 3rd go. So the deciding round, we'll let the leapers go first again, because if the captain goes first, it is quite a big advantage for him. I think it's more balanced this way.
So 18 attacks. Oh, we roll that one because it's cocked. 11 hits. Oh no, sorry, we've got 13 hits and 11 wounds.
So I've got a lot of save rolls to make, and we're looking at 4 failures in there, which is pretty much average, but that does mean the captain is down to 2 before he's done anything. So he needs to start killing leapers. Well, he missed once, and got 2 wounds, so he's not killing more than 1.
Failed the saves, so we are down a leaper. 12 attacks on 3s. That's only 6 hits. With 3 wounds.
3s to save. Oh, failed another one. Down to 1. So we could do with a good attack roll. Well, 2 misses isn't a good start. 4s. Nothing. Oh dear, the captain might be in trouble.
12 attacks. It's only 7 hits. With another 3 wounds.
Need to make all the saves though. Oh no, there's another 1 in there, so the captain is killed for a 2nd time, and that will be a Tyranid victory and I guess a winner in the best of 3. But I think we'll leave it there. You get the idea from those games, so we'll recap those and give you our thoughts straight away. So that was our playthrough of issue 2 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine. What did you think?
Yeah, it's a pretty good, a decent tutorial on how units work in melee. There are other things to note with shooting or moving around, but this is obviously just reinforcing what you've learnt in the previous issue.
Yeah, they essentially added 2 things, which was when you have a unit of multiple models, they make all their attacks together, but obviously if they die, then those models don't get to attack anymore. And if they take damage, then models take damage 1 at a time.
The issue, I think, with learning games like this is if you introduce too much at once, it gets confusing, but you do want to have it at a decent pace or it just gets boring. But it's at a good enough pace, right? So we're at the stage where it's like, right, I understand how combat works. We fairly soon will be learning about moving and shooting, so it's not just going to be models hashing it out in the middle of the board. It'll be a little bit more interesting.
It also shows, I suppose, that generally characters tend to be more powerful than units, so a single Von Ryan's Leaper is not really a match for the captain, but 3 together, as we saw, can take him down. The captain struggled a bit with wound rolls.
So did the Von Ryan's Leapers. I think until the last game they were pretty below average. But he did seem actually fairly balanced.
Yeah, as we demonstrated, it was possible for both sides to win. The sheer volume of attacks the Leapers have when there are all 3 of them means they are a threat even to the captain. And they will be more of a threat to some other units we'll get who are less well armoured, so they are certainly dangerous. But obviously it's still a very basic representation of what they can do. There's more to them than just standing around and hitting people.
You can kind of get them around the sides. They're reasonably fast, and they have a couple of special rules that help them get towards the enemy without just getting shot to bits. And if you can get them into some weaker backline units, then they're going to do a lot of damage. And they're really cool models. They are very similar to the Lictor model, but sort of smaller versions of it.
Might sound like a slightly strange name for a unit, especially given that a lot of the Tyranids have alien-sounding names. It implies there's someone called Von Ryan who discovered and named these things. It makes it feel almost like a sort of real-world biological.
Well, I think apparently he's mentioned in one of the earlier edition Tyranid codexes.
Yeah, there's a diagram of
beasts. And I did paint these a little bit differently. I went for more of a Xenomorph from Alien style colour scheme because I thought that fit better for a stealthier unit than the more Starship Troopers inspired one for the Winged Tyranid Prime. And the magazine had more the entry level lore. I mean, it did mention a bit on painting, but there'll still be a couple more issues before we actually get to do any painting. I think issue 4 is when you get your first paints. But painting guides usually introduce things fairly slowly and you build up as you go. They're usually very good for beginners in this magazine. And obviously it's really good value for money still at this discounted price.
But anyway, I think that'll be it for this video and this episode, so let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you've been getting Combat Patrol, then let us know how you've been getting on and how you did if you played through the game yourself. If you enjoyed the video, then do leave a like and subscribe, and obviously we'll be carrying on with this now hopefully at a weekly pace, now that the issues are coming out every week. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye for now.